Just testing today the end result of my $1.40 windscreen mod. Now meanwhile, I've been looking around on Fleabay, and they also have some aftermarket windscreen deflectors. There's only one problem with the eBay ones. Well, there's no real problem, but there is just one minor one. They start off at $35 and you can pick one of those up in Australia, which I'll just let you know now, I've actually ordered one because I want to compare that $35 one against this one out here today, and that $35 one might be something that will appeal to someone that looks like they'd want something a lot neater. But the other thing is the good brand stuff, and most of the good brand stuff is marketed for, you know, by a top company. Anyway, the story goes there, when you look on eBay, they're sitting there, but the fact is that they're couldn't find any on eBay in Australia selling any of the good products. The ones I could find were overseas, mainly England, US, places like that. But the trouble is, by the time you buy the unit, convert your dollar, pay the import duties, pay the freight, just for me to go out and buy and test that screen, it could be a lemon. There'd be no change out of $200 Australian. You know, that's how I worked it out, and I thought, just not worth me trouble to go to it and buy one and get caught up with something that may be all right or may not. So I figured the best. That's a nice car, bloody Toyota 86. Yeah. So what I was thinking after that was, I'll try the $35 special, see how it goes, and more importantly, see how this one goes. Okay, I'm in top gear now, sitting on 80 kilometres an hour in the 80 zone, and actually it feels alright. Not bad at all. Don't think I can complain getting a bit of side wind, but you know, it's a windy day today. Like where I live now in the Central Tablelands in New South Wales, you can just feel it on a daily basis getting colder and colder. Like last night, -1. So it's no picnic, I think, out on the bikes now. What I should be thinking of doing is maybe one, wearing gloves, or two, buy a set of heated grips. And I think I should be using the helmet visor over too, because it's really cold out here after you've been hit in the face by this cold wind. So there's a few things I've got to look at in that direction, but nothing that can't be solved. But like I said, 80 k's an hour now, really good. So just for the sake of, well, actually you could have done this mod for nothing. If you would have looked around and found a couple of screws, put in it, put a bit of that vacuum hose, what I slid down in it, started off at around about 15 mil in depth, and then cut your way back. I think if you got onto this side here and went into it a lot further, you could virtually cut it down and refine it to be spot on. But you know, as it is now, for $1.40 it's alright. It'll be good to see when I try this $35 one from the Bay, how it belts out against it. That you would expect it to be a lot better, but because it's totally adjustable, where this one's on a fixed, that you don't know until you try them. One thing about the bike, but it really does go nice every time you get on it. You just come out, turn the key, press the button, and you're mobile. No drama. It really is a nice little bike to ride. Pickup's pretty good too. One thing I might say is you'd have to, every time you vary your screen angle and you push the wind up higher and you get more less resistance in one way, like wind hitting you, but the bike is probably working harder in the long term, pushing through the wind. So I don't know whether, you know, you might win one and lose the other. So we're coming up to the 100 zone shortly, and I'll rip her on 100 and see how it feels. Okay, we're just about on it now, and let's party. Yeah, actually that's not bad. Yeah, good. I don't know if you can see the trees up ahead, but they are really swaying. So I don't go out testing on perfect days, but there's been no perfect days for the last couple of weeks. I think that would virtually conclude this test. I reckon if I just wanted to fool around for a little bit more now and vary the angles or stuff like that a bit more, it could be even better. But you know, like, nobody wants to look at these videos, chapter 115 of how to save $35. I wouldn't, so it's just been a bit of an experiment to find out if it works, and as far as I'm concerned, it definitely works. I will be doing another one, but when I get the other screen, and we'll compare something you'd expect to be far better than this. I mean, you would think so, because they went to the trouble to do it. It is. This bike really runs. It really likes to party, and you can change those gears as fast as you want too. Look at that. Down to 5th, up to 6th. Really good. Now I'm going back the other way with the wind in a different direction from behind. This screen's even better. Bet you the bike would be quicker along here too. I might just... Look at that. This bloody thing runs alright. They're not heaps of shit, they're good bikes. Ooh there, slow it down, boy. Yeah, I tell you what guys, this heading this way, that's even better, like in a different wind direction, and I'm not getting thrown around the back part of me, and I'm just cutting through the wind now. Great. Look at them brakes. Really not a bad bike. So overall, we look back and say, was all this crap worth it, going out there and playing with the angles or something like that? Yeah, I think it filled in a bit of time. It was something to look at. More importantly, the results in, and as far as I'm concerned, the idea worked compared to what I was copping before. And I was really getting hammered by the wind on this bike, so you know, it just depends on whether you'd want to add a couple of screws to the top part of the screen, rather mount it like I did in the vacuum hose there to absorb it better. But I tell you, you had your rear end parked on this bike coming along here now, you would say to myself, you would say definitely an improvement. Not only that, I can hear the engine or motor noise better now. I can hear it running along. I wouldn't say the noise from this motor is inspiring, but you know, I can hear it. Probably, but it seems to be just cutting along now, running through the thing at the 80 kilometres an hour. So I don't know. I've got no complaints about it. I just say to you now, it's just a waste of bloody time, not worth the trouble doing it. Stay away from it, go and buy a good one. But I think you can improve on something if you don't want to spend for nothing. Look at this, pulling up this pretty good grade. You'd have to be looking at this grade on this hill, but just pulling up here at 80 k's an hour, top gear, firing away. Tell you what, there's a lot worse bikes out there you can buy than one of these. I think they're pretty good bikes, pretty good value for money. I haven't really got into the petrol side, what it's like per litre, but I don't know. I did that once on my previous bike, but it's no big deal. If you can't afford petrol on a motorbike, well, the other option is buy an electric bike and solve that price. I tell you what, speaking of electric bikes, I would not rule out the fact that one day I'll buy an electric bike. I don't mean a push bike, I mean a motorbike. Just the novelty of riding an electric bike, just to see what it was like, and I think one day, and it mightn't be too long away, that I'll take the plunge and go and try an electric, because it might be silent, but if I miss that part of it, I could always have stereo speakers fitted to the bike, run an iPod or whatever through it, something like that, and I could just get sound effects in the ears as I'm going along, and I probably wouldn't know the difference. So, you know, like, that's one way to look at a bit of a crap. But the thing is, I just think it'd be a novelty, zooming along, no noise, no vibration, no nothing, just like you were floating. So when the time comes or the opportunity arises, I think I'll have to try one of those. I think the top brands out at the moment are ones called Zero, and I think that's probably the way I'd go. Unless something else comes out. I'm not even sure now if you can get those Zeros. I had the Zeros in Australia for a couple of years, but I'm not sure if they're still available, so you can't win them all. But like I said, I won't rule out an electric bike just for the thrill of the experience on it, I think.